neuwaerts.fm.
Topic: CGC Radio. Top speakers and highlights of the CeBIT Global Conferences. Made by neuwaerts.fm.
So, hello and welcome everybody. We are back at the CGC Radio, and I'm sitting here with Brent Goff right after the session with Edward Snowden and Glenn Greenwald. So,
that's right.
You know the questions you don't ask. One of them is, how do you feel? How do you feel, Brent?
It was a spell-binding experience. I mean, I was on the stage for an hour with Glenn and with Edward Snowden. He was there through Skype, but it felt like he was sitting right there with us at the same time. And you could talk to these gentlemen for hours. There's so much to talk about. And we were able to distill a lot of questions into those 60 minutes. I had 30 minutes with Glenn and then 30 minutes with Edward, and then pulling Glenn into the conversation. It felt good. I pushed Edward. I wanted to find out, are you working on a way to get back to the United States? Are you trying to set up a deal? Are you pushing for Obama to grant you pardon before he leaves the White House? He didn't say no. He said, obviously I can't talk about that in front of a conference. And that's a good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you are, you are 100% journalist.
Yeah.
So, was it something like a once in a lifetime opportunity to ask especially these both people together, and definitely, I mean, Snowden is a historic person.
Of course. I mean, for me, definitely a career highlight. But I hope it's not the end.
No.
I asked him. I said, please, when you leave Russia, come here to the global conferences. Come back. Sit on center stage with me and with Glenn. I would love to talk to both of you in person. And he said, sure, he'll do that. I would love for that to happen. And who knows? It's 2015, maybe by 2016, 17, who knows?
For those who listen to this podcast and they hadn't had the chance to attend the talk, is there a chance to review the hour? Is it going to be a recording available on the CeBIT website?
Of course. Video on demand. If you go to the CeBIT website, I think it's CeBIT.com or CeBIT.de. I think both of them actually. And you click onto the global conferences. There you'll find all of the videos, all of the elements from the day. And of course, this will be at the very top. All you do is click on it and you'll see the 60 minutes. I mean, it's a 60-minute show.
What a show, yeah. So I sat in the front row. I mean, before the front row, actually, down on the floor.
Yeah.
And I really felt touched. I felt touched by seeing Edward Snowden talking with a passion.
Yeah.
And I mean, this man has so much to tell. And when we don't talk about secrets,
right.
He has a message. And if he says that it's not about him, and that he really hopes that people don't focus on him as a person, but on what is the goal he fights for, and that is a global thing. Whoosh! It was really a touching moment.
Yeah.
And so what do you think actually? I asked Glenn Greenwald on the podcast whether he is some sort of disappointed that when he helped to bring out all these secrets and all these undisclosure, that so little has happened, probably.
Well, I don't know if you can say so little has happened. the fact that we're sitting here talking about this, the fact that everyone, and it's like I said at the beginning of the hour, there is not a conversation today about privacy, about disclosure, about surveillance, about the role of the government, about citizens' rights, citizens' responsibilities that takes place today without Edward Snowden influencing it. Yeah. I mean, his signature is on every conversation piece that there is when we talk about our rights and our privacy and our data. That in itself, regardless of what happens to Edward, that in itself is a huge achievement. We didn't even know who he was 2 years ago. I mean, think about it. He was just, he was some guy, in Hawaii working for the NSA, some contracted guy. And he has fundamentally changed the content of our conversations. And he has also empowered people. I mean, even if you think what he did by taking documents from the government, even if you say, okay, that was wrong, now people feel empowered to demand from their elected officials full disclosure about what they're doing with information. That in itself is good. And that's why I asked Edward, what about if you could come back to the States? Let's talk about a possible deal. What about if the jury says you are guilty of breaking the law? Okay, you did that. But what about if they also say you're guilty of following the spirit of the law? Yeah. There's something also to be said. What about having faith that could happen? Because I really believe a lot of Americans sitting in a jury box would say, all right, slap him on the hand for what he did, officially, but reward this man for what he has given us. I think there would be people who would think that. I think that possibility exists. That was what I was trying to convey. Regardless of what you think about what he did, the possibility that someone could think that does exist in the United States.
Yeah. So this was definitely, the highlight of the global conferences. We have many highlights. We have seen even more today. So let's cover the day. Let's do a little wrap up of what happened today, because it was a very, very tense day.
Wow, I mean, today was one of those days where, how much can you, stuff into 10 hours? I mean, we started with the German rock star, Peter Maffay, talk about a completely different world. And he was on stage to talk about an app that his foundation is sponsoring, an app that is there to protect children, that you put on your smartphone, and children, if they get lost or if they've been kidnapped or if they're in trouble, they just hit a button and emergency services are notified for these kids. So he started this off telling us about that. There was huge media presence there for that. And after that, we had a lot of really impressive speakers today talking to us, of course, about the role of surveillance in society, what companies can do, what the citizen can do, basically building up to what we had this afternoon with Greenwald and Snowden. So it was a jam-packed day for sure. Yeah,
and to me personally, it's so great to see that a conference or an exhibition like the CeBIT really focuses on a topic like that, and not from the technological point of view, so talking about cryptocurrency or whatever, but talking about the impacts and talking about strategies. So this is really a transformation of the CeBIT itself.
Sure.
Making such a topic actually being the most discussed topic of the CeBIT this year.
It's about the big picture, right? And you had a lot of tech-savvy people in the room today, but the fact that they were all there, the room was packed. They also want to think about the big picture, the big ideas. They can tell you what makes a smartphone work, but they also want to talk about what makes us want to use a smartphone, right? To connect with each other. These big ideas. And hey, I can only praise the CeBIT Global Conferences for putting these items on the agenda, because you make yourself relevant that way, because that's what the world's talking about.
Definitely, just to be a bit sharp maybe, but of course we have other exhibitions like like Barcelona, for example. But
Yeah.
if we talk about the issues of today, and we talk about another Samsung something, just a new product, a new smartphone, to me this is really coming back to the basics, talking about leading the important discussions. And no matter whether you're talking about like privacy, or we're talking about the security of kids, or we talk about what are personal strategies. So this was really a wealthy day, and I'm sure we have another day ahead.
Yeah.
So give us a glimpse, a little bit of what's going to happen tomorrow, on Thursday.
Tomorrow, also we've got a jam-packed day. Tomorrow is the last day of the global conferences before we do Rock the Blog, which will be on Friday. So tomorrow's the last day of the global conferences. Shai Agassi is going to be here. Fascinating character, because he is one of these internet gurus who failed.
Yeah.
And he actually became this iconic cult figure because he didn't get it right.
Yeah.
We're going to talk to him tomorrow, and at the end of the day, tomorrow at 5 o'clock, the most famous hacker in the world, bad hacker turned good hacker, Kevin Mitnick, is going to be with us. I've been talking to him now for about 2 weeks in preparation for tomorrow. He has a fascinating hour planned for us. And not only is he going to talk about his story of coming from the dark side into the light, but he's also going to show us some of his, I don't want to call them tricks, he calls them demonstrations.
Yeah.
He's going to do on stage showing us how easy it is to be a hacker, and how easy we make it for hackers to steal from us. So the entertainment value is going to be there tomorrow, but I think there's going to be a lot of wow moments tomorrow when he's on stage. So that's in store for tomorrow.
Yeah. So we are all looking forward for tomorrow. Actually, Brent, thanks for spending your time with us.
Sure, thank you.
After this brilliant day, and
you.
I'm pretty sure you're gonna enjoy a drink tonight on what happened today,
sure.
and this is well deserved. So
thank you.
Yeah, we talk tomorrow
again,
and it's going to be another bright day here on the CeBIT Global Conferences. So hope to see you who are listening to this podcast tomorrow. It's worth it. So make your way to Hanover, and meet us tomorrow.
That's right.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
GC Radio. Made by neuwaerts.fm.